3 books that made me a millionaire by the age of 34. Guys, this is Rick Ginn, and today I'm going to share with you the 3 most impactful videos that got me started as a wholesaler and actually made me a millionaire by year 2 of my real estate investing. But before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, you hit that subscribe button to continue to receive the best information to date on wholesaling. So let's get to it. For full disclosure, I've read a ton of books. Like, I love books, I love audiobooks, and honestly, there's a lot of books I've never finished because I just felt I didn't connect with it. And remember, books are people's opinions, and some are phenomenal and some are less inspiring. So if you find a book that doesn't inspire you and doesn't work, don't be forced to read it to the end. People who tell you you have to read a book to be smart, I'm here to tell you, there's some people, I've never been a big reader. I just, I got ADHD and I don't read everything start to finish. Now, if a book excites me and it piques my curiosity, I'm all over it. So let me walk through you in order the books that changed my life, that made me who I am today, and is the reason I'm on this video with you. And I'm going to start with order of importance. So number 1 is I had to find a book to shift how I was thinking. So remember, I went to traditional school, I went to college, and I suffered miserably through it. I just didn't learn like the other kids. I struggled with it, and I just didn't understand why I had to learn complicated math like calculus and algebra. It just because for the most part, there was no real world application for me. And when I asked questions to teachers, I was told to be quiet and just do my job. And that was to be a good student. So I could go to school, get a good job, and then basically pay my taxes and raise a family. And maybe I get to retire when I was 65. And I always thought that was the oddest formula in the world. So now I'm a lot older than a lot of people you are watching this video. So I didn't have as many options. So I churned the books. So at about 17, 18, I was always curious, but I didn't do much about it. And then some point, I was at a garage sale and I found a book that, quite honestly, it pretty much changed the trajectory of my life. Now, this book was not a one-stop shop. That's why I'm not going to give you one book. I'm going to give you 3 books that got me where I am. So number 1, I found a book that would change my mindset and say anything is humanly possible. Okay. And I keep this book near and dear because I bought it at a garage sale. I think I paid $1.25 for it. And it's by Tony Robbins. It's the Awaken the Giant Within. And you guys see how beat up this book is, how terrible it is. And the wild part about it is they don't make books like this anymore. It's 519 pages of tiny print. And I got to tell you, if you have a chance to get this book, you can probably get it online for 99 cents. It's one of his early writings. I can't tell you, because it's going to tell you that you were capable of so much more in life. And once I opened up these opportunities, I took from Tony Robbins. He was in the same state I was when I was a young man. And he says, I could not take it anymore. I'm going to make a change and I'm going to make it happen. Now, here's the difference is he made the changes at like 19 and 20. I waited till my 30s to do it. So I want you to understand, it doesn't matter how old you are or how long it takes to make the change. The difference is you commit to making the change, it can happen. Okay. So I relapsed a few times in between and I struggled because I didn't have any support groups. I didn't have YouTube. Heck, I didn't even have the internet when I was doing this stuff. But I knew it was possible. And I've probably read the book 5 or 6 times since then. And I got to tell you, man, if you're struggling with your mindset, if your parents are telling you, no, you got to go get a good job, you are settling. I'm telling you right now, you were settling. I did it and it was horrible. It didn't work out for me. Was I comfortable? Yeah. Was I safe? Yeah. But you're only going to live once. So why be confounded by these ridiculous rules we're all set in? So people tell you to go get a good job. Don't do that. It's not safe. They're trying to keep you at their level because that's all they know. So I love my parents to death, but the reality is they didn't have the tools to give me the education to really free myself and give me financial freedom. So I had to figure it out on my own. You're going to have to figure it out on your own. You are never going to get it from the school system. I guarantee you won't get it from college. I'm sorry. They're going to teach you a skill that's going to be a job that you're going to wind up working for an entrepreneur. Okay. You're going to wind up working for someone like me or somebody else that creates the income. You got to find out how to help as many people out on this planet Earth as possible, and you will be rewarded proportionately. That's it. School doesn't teach that. So number 1, start with Awaken with a Giant. I'm telling you, it is a game changer. I hate that word, but it truly opened my eyes. And if you don't change your mind, there's no way for you to be successful in wholesaling. You have to understand that the system that you've been brought up in is broken and And if you want to get out of that cycle, like 95% of the people in the world, you're going to have to ask more of yourself. And here's the key part I learned with Tony Robbins is it's you that has to demand more. You do not depend on other people to ask more from you. You got to start within. So the first thing he taught me was to stop telling myself lies. If you can tell yourself the truth, you can fix anything. If you're going to fabricate the truth and make up excuses and drama, you can never fix it, and you're doomed to repeat your past because your emotions are nothing more than a reflection of past behaviors, and your emotions are trying to keep you safe and secure, and you will never grow into this mindset. So guys, any type of Tony Robbins things, I love it. This book, unbelievable. But guys, change your mind, okay? And I'm telling you, if you start with this book, I promise you, you will look at the world differently. You look at everything around you differently, and it's like a rebirth. I don't even know how to describe it. Now, the hard part is putting it all to work. That's where I had challenges with, and today you have so many tools available to you. This is why we have this community of wholesalers to help you guys out, to give you guidance. So if you just start now and go, listen, Rick, I went to 3 books. The most important one is going to be a Tony Robbins Awaken the Giant Within. I love it. And guys, you could probably get it free and find it there. It's perfectly legal. You can get it there. So as long as you have internet access, or worst case scenario, just go online, go to eBay. You probably get it for like 99 cents, or find a digital version of it. Just want to help out as many people as possible. So that is number one. The second book that really, once I opened my mind up and Tony helped me with that, the next one is I went to look for real estate books. So I knew I never wanted to be a realtor. That just like that. I'm like, I just don't see a lot of wealthy realtors, and they all seem to be like overworked. So I wanted to do some sort of real estate investing. So I did my research and I found it, and I came across a book by complete accident, and it's called Real Estate Riches. And it is basically a subset book of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad with Robert Kiyosaki. And that's a great book, but you all know about that. I don't need to tell you about that one. And that's a definite read. But there's one called Real Estate Riches, and it's basically written by Dolph DeRoos. And he's an amazing investor. You guys can check him out online. And he wrote this book so simply and opened up my mind for opportunities and gave me options like what you could do with real estate. Like, how was this young man, and I was in my 30s at the time, how am I going to buy real estate when I have little to no money to my own name? I had a lot of debt. I was way over obligated. I had 2 kids. I had a mortgage, and he just showed me time after time. And this book has the art of storytelling, and it shows you how a real estate investor controlled everything, and then they had all the time in the world, and eventually they had financial freedom to do whatever they want and travel the world. So if you guys check out Dolph DeRoos, he travels all over the world and does whatever he wants. He's done it his entire life, and he did it as a teenager. And my only regret is I didn't figure this out earlier. So I found a great book, Real Estate Riches, Dolph DeRoos, DeRoos, and it is a great storytelling book, and it's true because I've checked it all out, because I was like, there's no way you can do this stuff. And it's true. And like, how does this guy travel the world and do everything? I'm like, unbelievable. Tony Robbins taught me that anything is achievable if you just put your mind to it. So now, number one, I changed my mindset with Tony Robbins. Number two, I opened up my options of what I could do in real estate with Dolph DeRoos. And I go, hey, I got to be a real estate investor. How can I really get down to the nitty gritty? How can I make the most impact with the least amount of risk and have the most freedom of my time? And so here comes book number 3. And this is kind of an odd book, not like a bestseller or anything like that, but man, did it hit home for me. And it is basically called Making Big Money in Investing in Real Estate. And it's written by Peter Conte and David Finkel. I want to say it was like a late 90s book, maybe early 2000. And this book, I went from options to now techniques. And they taught me how to buy any property with no money or no credit. And they are probably one of the reasons that I found wholesaling. And they mentioned wholesaling in it, but they didn't go that deep dive into it. But like, that pointed me in the direction. And I love this book because it teaches you everything. It teaches you the basic structure of a lease option. It teaches you creative financing. For those of you who think creative financing was just invented, it's not. Subject 2's been around forever. Lease options, owner financing, wholesaling, and traditional real estate investing. And then from there, I went on to read a ton of books after that. I want you to understand how I wound up just by using books to change the trajectory of my life. And here's the really cool thing is today is you're not just constricted to book, okay? Now, books back then, that was how you got the information. Fast forward to today, the problem is information's changing so fast, you're almost better getting it in a video format or like an online format because you can skip the fancy publications, all that stuff, and get the information in real time. But some of the old classic books really nailed it on the head because they had to carefully think it out, and not a lot changed back then, so it was very clear and they're well-written books. So let me review again the process of the 3 books that changed my life, and if you get value from it, let me know below in the comments, because if I can can just change one person's life watching this video, I want you to understand I was in your shoes starting out trying to figure out. So number one, you got to find a book that changes your mind. My recommendation is Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. You can buy it online. It's an old book. I believe it was back in 1990. And he actually wrote it in the 80s. That's how long he's been around. And you've got to change your mindset, okay? If your mind's broken, if you're not making any money, you hate your current job, or you don't understand why you're going to go to school or go to college, then you need to explore what the possibilities are. And I'm telling you, the sky is unlimited, okay? So the sky is the limit. Go for it. Like, you do not have to go get a job. A job, to me, is you're settling. I'm sorry. You're working on somebody else's dream. That's how I feel. I've lived it, guys. I'm telling you. Number two, once you open your mind, you need to find options of something that really interests you. So if it's real estate, like it was with me, it's probably why you're watching the video. I recommend Real Estate Riches by Dolph DeRoos. It's a simple written book. You can read it in like a day, and it tells you stories about how he couldn't believe he could amass all this wealth by just helping people out and using none of his own money. And then he shows you how he gets freedom of time, and he does deal after deal, and it's unbelievable. And I'm talking from tiny little houses up to giant commercial buildings. And Dolph DeRoos has been doing this a long time. He travels the entire world, and I just adore how he does real estate. And a lot of you guys don't know about him because he's been around a long time, but you can learn a lot from that book, okay? And the final one is, once you have your options, then you got to look for some like real techniques, okay? If you want to check out the book I have, Making Big Money Investing in Real Estate, it's a great book. And by the way, all these people, I've all met them in person. I made it my mission to meet these people. And I didn't have to meet them, but it kind of put the icing on the cake. But that final book will give you like a technique. So I learned how to do buy properties with little to no money down. And then it eventually led me to wholesaling. And then you know how the rest of the history goes. So guys, I hope this video helps you, inspire you. Grab these 3 books. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And in my opinion, they're timeless books. I've read thousands of books. And honestly, a lot of the books I haven't finished because I think a lot of books are a lot of fluff. And these 3, man, they hit me at the right time. And I think a good book comes down to timing a lot of times. Why do you think people are so anchored to the books? I will never forget these 3 books, and it has a big enough impact where I'm going to give you a video on this. So what I want you to do is put in the comments and let me know if you're going to take advantage of these books, or maybe you give me your read list, because you guys ask me all the time what books inspired you. And I had to sit down and carefully think about this video. And listen, it's my opinion. Some of you agree with me, some might not, but the only thing that matters is it changed the trajectory of my life and my family, and that's what I'm trying to do with you. So if you want to join along, check out the books. I appreciate you guys. This is Ginn, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.